Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Welcome back to the internet! Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alisha, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. First question. First question comes from Faris Ghazali. How do I stop translating the meaning of English words in my head? I can tell you about the things that have helped me and maybe they'll help you. I put myself in situations where I could not escape into my native language. In my case, I could not escape into English. I would go out for food and drinks with friends who could not speak English. I had no choice but to use a different language with them. 2, something that I've noticed some of my students do that actually kind of bothers me. They bring a dictionary to their lesson and they'll stop conversations in lessons to check words in their dictionary and say a single word at a time instead of just trying to find a different way to explain that. 1, it totally stops the flow of conversation. 2, you don't have really the option to do that in a conversation. Most of the time you're not going to be carrying around your dictionary with you, I hope, unless it's in your phone, I suppose. 3rd, I think that this is a chance to develop a better skill. Instead of trying to translate into English or to translate into a different language, you should think about finding a different way to explain the word you want to use. Let's say, for example, that you want to use the word beautiful, but you can't remember the word. How would you explain that? So think about other ways to communicate an idea, even if you don't have the vocabulary word. So going to your dictionary shouldn't necessarily be the first course of action. It shouldn't necessarily be your first step. Think about a different way to communicate the idea you're trying to communicate. Think of examples to explain the word you're looking for, and then the other person can teach you. Like if you're working with somebody or you're talking with somebody who understands you're not a native speaker, chances are if you can explain the word you're looking for, they will tell you. They will be your teacher. I just explain with body language sometimes too if I don't know a word. So another thing that really helped me was not just studying vocabulary words, but actually approaching things as phrases. So not saying, okay, this word equals this word in my language, but rather here's a phrase that communicates a meaning that is interesting to me or that I hear my friends use a lot. I'm going to use that phrase. So don't just input. Start outputting too. So hope that's helpful for you. Next question is from Huang Jiang-ik. Hi, Huang Jiang-ik says, I'm curious, what do you do on your days off? You want to know what I do on my days off? On my days, I'm pretty normal. On my days off, I cook, I go jogging, I sleep, I go listen to my favorite DJs, I see my friends, I eat and drink and watch TV. That's about it. I'm a pretty normal person. Next question is from Muhammad Sohail. What is the difference between famous and popular? Great question. Famous is something that is well known. Many people know about that thing or that person. Beyonce is famous. The Statue of Liberty is famous. The Eiffel Tower is famous. Popular, however, means many people know about it and it is liked. It has a positive image. So Beyonce is popular. Or a famous candy is popular. Like chocolate cake is popular. It's a famous food and many people like it. So popular is famous plus a positive image. Sometimes we can use those two words for the same thing. So Beyonce is famous, Beyonce is popular. But famous doesn't always mean they are popular. So someone can be famous for a bad thing. In that case, though, it's typically better to use the word infamous. Infamous means famous for a bad reason. So famous for something negative. Next question comes from, you wrote the pronunciation of your name. Very nice. Aitan, I think? Okay. Hey Alisha, I hope you're well. My level is intermediate. They feel that they're stuck at the intermediate level and want to reach the advanced level. They're watching lots of videos on YouTube, reading academic articles on the web, but still feel that progress has somehow stopped. Could you give me some advice? Okay, you say in your message that you feel your progress somehow has stopped. I have been here too, the intermediate plateau. You begin learning a language and it's yeah, I'm learning all these things, and then you kind of plateau. You get to a level where things don't continue and you feel like progress goes much more slowly. I would say in this case, First, identify how you feel your progress has stopped. By that I mean, like, do you feel like your vocabulary is lacking? Or do you find that it's hard to listen to people and to understand what they're saying? Do you find it's hard to write? Is it hard to read things? So first identify what is that thing that you feel like you're not good at, and then start to approach your further studies with that as the focus. I think that if you can think about your different skill sets, your different levels in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, you can identify which of those 4 things is weakest for you and start there. So when you feel your progress has stopped, think like, okay, what am I not good at doing? And then focus your time there. So maybe that's a helpful first step for you. Hope that helps. Next question. Next question comes from Kiara. Kiara asks, I'll help you studying and I'll help you to study. What is the correct one? Thanks. I'll help you something. I'll help you do this. So just the regular plain form of the verb, I would suggest, is probably the most natural choice. Thanks for the question, though. Next question. Next question comes from Sharif Ahmed. Okay. Should I use the singular or plural verb after colloquial names? For example, my team have won the match or has won the match. Okay, in this case, my team has won the match. My team has won the match. So use the singular form of the verb, like same as like he has or she has. My team has is the correct answer here. Next question. Next question comes from Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey. Jeffrey asks, sometimes I watch movies and some characters say, you wish, with a very angry attitude, or I wish in other situations. What do these 2 sentences mean and how do I use it? Aha, interesting question. Okay, when someone responds with you wish to a negative suggestion, it's like they're mutually together, they're recognizing that they don't like each other. So usually the first character will say something like, make a negative suggestion, like you should leave town and get a different job, like leave us alone, something like that. And then the other character will say, yeah, you wish, like, yes, this character recognizes you want me to do that, yes, but I'm not going to do that, in other words. So it's sort of like a challenge. So this person says like this negative suggestion, the other person recognizes this suggestion and says, no, I'm not going to do that, but I know you want me to do that. So you wish in this way means it's like a negative challenge. They're kind of fighting, recognizing they dislike each other. So that's one. The other one, what was the other one? So I wish, we talked about I wish in the previous episode of Ask Alisha, so please check that out. But essentially, I wish refers to something that we cannot do now, or something that is different from the present situation, but we want to happen, or we want to be able to do. So please check the last episode of Ask Alisha for more about I wish, like the positive meaning. Next question. Next question is from Romeo Liu from Vietnam. Hello, Romeo. Could you please explain what the expression try as I may means? This is usually used in an expression that's sort of negative, like even though I'm trying my best, it's difficult for me to do this thing. So try as I may, I just can't get a new job. Or try as I may, I just can't earn that much money. Or try as I may, I just can't seem to cook this dish, for example. So even though I'm giving my best effort, even though I'm really working hard, this other thing just isn't happening for me. So it's sort of like a sad or like a disappointed or unhappy expression, actually. Thanks for the question, Romeo. Okay, so those are all the questions for this week's episode of Ask Alisha. I hope that they were useful for you. If you would like to submit a question, remember you can send them to me at englishclass101.com/ask-Alisha. If you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check us out at englishclass101.com for a bunch of other good stuff that can help you as you learn English. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Ask Alisha, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye. I talk too much. I'm late for work.